bacon. Hello and good Anna morning.
Hey guys, good Anna morning. Happy Monday.
I had to sneeze.
Happy Monday in May. It's May.
It's May the 4th.
Happy May. May the 4th be with you.
There you are. Yeah, we had to do it. We had to do it. Corporate obligations and all that, you know, sponsors.
Yeah. You know, we are sponsored by Star Wars.
And Disney.
And so we have to...
Surprise, we're Disney animators now.
Yeah, surprise, Disney decided to sponsor our stream. Now Disney officially owns everything, including us.
Yep, including all your bacon sandwiches.
Yep.
Which, congratulations, Kurzek, you now have the bacon.
Yes, thank you, Kurzek, so much for the subscription. We appreciate you! You're amazing! We hope you enjoy the bacon sandwich.
Hey,
Disney-fied
Porky Boy,
bacon.
Is it saying Porky Boy? Hello to Porky Boy.
Hello, Porky Boy. I hope that you get some sleep at some point. Disney bought COVID-19. Oh, jeez.
Ah, well, this VOD can't go up now.
Yeah, we said the word. We said
in the first
COVID.
minute too, as well. YouTube's just gonna be like,
coronavirus, coronavirus, fuck shit. There, now I've destroyed it from being able to be monetized by YouTube.
And not just does it. All right, yeah, cool.
You're right, my friend.
You're right, my friend. Thank you, ADS Skyon.
Thank you for the 5 bits. Yeah. So this morning we're gonna do our Anim Morning Challenge thing.
First, off the bat.
So let me just
Porky Boy, we're glad that you could catch a stream too. Thank you for coming and hanging out, even just for a couple of minutes. Have a good night's sleep, and I hope that tomorrow your workday goes well.
Yes.
Everybody, yeah. Rock your body, yeah. Ooh. Everybody, yeah.
Let's see. I think
Rock
I can.
your body, why? Back streets back, alright.
Thanks, India.
That song, though,
It's pretty good.
it's really catchy, which is exactly why we all have to stay inside.
It doesn't go entirely with what's playing in the background, but you made it work.
It's very catchy. If you hear it within a 10-foot radius,
I see.
it's a brainworm. You'll catch it.
Animatoonings.
Yeah, yeah.
Challenge.
Animatoonings, yeah. Challenge.
There you go.
Everybody, yeah. Upload your stuff to Sync Sketch.
So we'll get.
It's beautiful.
Thanks.
It's great.
Thank
It's cool.
you.
It's good.
Yeah, I like that Aiden's like, dang, India can sing. Doig cannot.
Doig, you can sing. You've
The
got a
song
beautiful bassy bassoon of a
The
voice.
song actually sounds like achoo.
Yeah, the song actually sounds like coughing and not good times.
So I actually tried to hit Animal Crossing just now.
You did. That's not what we're doing.
No, it's not. This is what we're doing. Okay, so I need to be able to pin this. I think my chat can pin to the top if I switch to.
I'm just gonna let Mike do his thing. Yeah, Josie, the fan art's been amazing and wonderful, and we so appreciate every single piece of it.
There we go. Cool.
We're very lucky that we have a bunch of arty friends. So thank you everyone who's sent us some fan art. It's really fun to be able to display it. Okay, Buffy, I'll let you out.
She's almost got it.
Oh wow, she's like half out. She's got her butt stuck in the room.
Go on, Buffy. You did.
She did it. Wow,
Yeah.
she opened a door.
Yeah.
That cat's getting more dangerous every day.
The background of this audio is from an animation from the line. So what we're doing is looking at what people have submitted as analysis videos. So
Yes.
If you haven't seen this advert, then highly recommend it. This has been submitted by Drev Barnes, and so I think what we'll do is we'll turn off the annotations, watch a little bit of it,
How long is it?
The commercial's not that long, but the analysis is at the start. So I thought if we watch through what was being analyzed, we'll have a better understanding of what's being broken down.
Makes sense.
I think I'm going to keep everything muted because we don't really need to hear the sound. I don't think.
Whereabouts on Sync Sketch is it so I can find it?
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, so I guess what I'll do is I will link you to all of the things that I'm looking at, so you can look at them at the same time.
Okay, thank you.
And then you can control what they're seeing, and I'll display what you were doing.
Okay, and see you, Solar Bass. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out. Josie, you've started reading the Animator Survival Guide. Yes! That's such a good book.
That is good.
It's like the best way to start ever, so good call on that.
So this is a little difficult for me to see what you guys are seeing. Oh, I might make your chat a little less big.
Make your chat a little less big. Less big. Oh yeah, this advert. Oh heck yeah. Was it Habbo who analysed this?
No, it was Drev Barnes.
Drev Barnes, good choice. I was like, Habbo knows the good stuff. But Drev, it was you!
I might actually not. I might have to grab Habbo's, but I'll do that in due course.
Oh, do you not have Habbo's?
I'm not sure I've got it in the tabs lined up yet.
Alright, let me...
Oh, cool, you're just going. That's great.
I was just turning off notes, so we can watch it through without them first.
Cool.
So I hope the frame rate doesn't suffer too much. So the Animorning Challenge! This is us going over the Animorning Challenge submissions. The Animorning Challenge last week was Now You Become the Teacher, which is to find an animation that really inspires you, the kind of stuff you want to make. And to break it down, we encourage people to not take more than 10 seconds, just so that it was manageable for people to do within 3 hours. And yeah, break it down, see what's working. Because, as well as practicing animation, I believe that animation analysis is an important part to improving, and an important part to checking with yourself that you're on the road you want to be on to become the kind of animator you want to be. So looking at the kind of animation you aspire to make and going through that and seeing what the animators are doing is a great learning experience. So though it may be tempting to just draw and feel like if you're not drawing you're not progressing, it's important sometimes to take a break, take a second, and just check in with what other people in the industry are doing, see if there's anything you can learn from them, any work practices you might want to incorporate into your own work practice to streamline things or improve your spacing or timing or squash and stretch or whatever. If you're going to do this, keep in mind the 12 principles. They're a great place to start when breaking down and analysing stuff. Anything you'd like to say?
I could say that sometimes it's a point of pride that you feel like you've figured something out yourself and that you haven't had to depend on anyone else. Like, oh, I learned how to do this myself. But learning from others' work is figuring it out, and it is gonna be a lot more beneficial than trying to piecemeal and guesswork.
Put it this way, you can get to the other side of the mountain by climbing your way around yourself and trying to figure out the route. Or you can look at the signpost and get there in half the time.
A lot of...
It may be a point of pride to people to be able to get there themselves, but would you rather have more time to practice? Or would you rather take longer to get to the same conclusion?
Sometimes, well, like, climbed mountains will have the remnants of people... Like, you know how people have those little clip things that they put in their thing? Sometimes those are left by the climbers.
Yeah, that's a good metaphor, Mike.
And why wouldn't you use something that's already there and sturdy?
Yeah. Basically, it's the same kind of instinct that stops artists from wanting to use reference, which is, I feel like I should know how to draw shoes, so I'm just going to try and draw them. But the way that we learn to do it is to see how it's done, to look at the real-life equivalents.
Yeah.
So whether it's studying video reference that you've taken of a movement, or looking at how another animator is using spacing to get that kind of crunch that you want, the fastest and easiest way to do it, and the best way to do it, is to look and learn from it rather than to just try and blindly hit everything you can until you happen upon the right answer.
Can we please have a soundbite of Look and Learn, sung to the melody of Live and Learn?
Look and learn! Download some reference and use it to animate!
Thank you.
Look and learn! Don't try to do it yourself!
There you go.
Okay, so this is an animation from The Line! The Line is a London-based studio. They do incredible work, and this advert has been circulating on Twitter, so you guys might have seen it before. We're going to play it through for you now. I hope the frame rate doesn't suffer too much from the fact that we're streaming it. But I think you'll very quickly see why this one was chosen as an inspirational, aspirational animation.
So I think I've got the whole site muted, so we won't be playing sound today because I don't want to have to balance it.
That's fair enough. Let's do it.
Ooh, it's a little stuttery on my side.
Would it be better if you played it yourself?
I'm not sure. It might just be a hefty file.
So clever. I love the way that the sword turns into the bike.
Hmm.
So good.
Wait, you've watched... Okay, did you watch up to the sword turning into a bike? Because I'm at the point where they're silhouetted against the sky.
Yeah. I did. Is it stopped for you?
Yeah.
Okay. Did it just pause?
Yeah.
Okay, let me...
That's okay. It's okay. Let me try.
I mean, it's scrubbing for you right now.
No, that's not working for me, I don't think.
Okay, maybe try refreshing it because I'm scrubbing it.
Okay.
You don't spoil. I'm sorry, I thought you guys were with me. I thought we were all going along together.
Oh, okay. Wait.
It's an advert for noodles. It's not.
It's telling me that the video could not be loaded because either server or network. Okay. I don't know how you guys were seeing any of that if that all failed.
This is such a good one to look at.
Okay.
Wow, they really
I think we're back now.
They really just did that, didn't they? Sorry. Wow. Wow. Okay, yeah, sorry. I'm getting caught up in the animation. Can you see me scrubbing now?
I think so, yeah. I think we're back.
Okay. So I'm going to go to the part where we silhouette against the sky, which is what I think you guys saw up to. And press play from there.
Wait. Let me press play because playback keeps getting blocked.
Okay.
And I don't need your screen just now, so I'm gonna end the call.
No, you don't. That's fair. Because you just don't need me anymore.
Okay, let me play it. You're not playing it anymore, right?
Nope.
Okay. There we go. I think it's gonna play better with me doing it. It's so cool.
This is my favorite shot. There you go. You saw it.
Your favorite shot is the slow in between light on the hat, isn't it?
Look, it's perfect. This is also a great one.
Oh man.
You see the way the sword turns into the bike there?
I also like the fact that he, like, the last end pose of the the sword strike, he had the sword like where the slice was, and then he moves it away and the guy falls apart. This is really graphic and gory for... We should probably put a disclaimer. By the way, blood and gore, yeah.
You see this? How cool that is. You can see me scrubbing now, right?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Yeah, there you always see. Like, bam! There's a sword in the negative space. Here it is.
Yeah.
Bah! That's the sound of blood. That's the sound it makes. Okay, let's have a look at these notes that Drev Barnes has done. Great choice with this, Drev Barnes. Yeah, the line art, amazing. What inspirational pupils. Oh wow, I can just use my arrow keys. That's so helpful.
There, you see those little the markers with the vertical lines and the arrows next to them on the far left of the UI.
Yeah.
If you click those, you can flip between annotations.
Okay, cool. Good to know. Thank you. Okay, so first off, we have a note from Drev here about the central composition, which is a great way to show a really powerful character is to have them central. So you're immediately knowing exactly where to look. As well as that, if you check out the values of this, like what pings out the most is this stark black and white shirt that the main character is wearing.
Mm-hmm.
God damn, it's just so stylish and cool. I'm like just staring at it. Anyway. So what is it this note for, I wonder?
Maybe they were about to do another
grid.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe so. Okay, let's see. We're zooming in. We got this dude. He's having a great time. So let's see, continuum of motion. I think Drev is meaning here with the camera. See how the camera is zooming here? And then rather than cutting to a still shot, we're still zooming in here. We're just cutting closer.
Yeah.
We also have the thing that this character is swigging round. Have a look. Yeah, the motion continues seamlessly between those two. They've made sure they cut on the frame. The same frame, essentially.
Oh,
so the motion
okay.
seamlessly continues. And check out these smears as well. How beautiful they are. See. So camera, zoom and truck in. Yep. I love this, the way that they'll hold on a still frame. Like, is he about to grab this? No, it's just easing into the top arc of the motion. You see how the top arc of the motion is described with this kind of light sheen flaring off the end? And then there's a hold, and we get to see the light travel across the blade as it's just held still in space. And this is basically a held frame, but with just the coat and the hair moving.
Yeah.
Offsetting your drawings like this is something that I see in Japanese animation a lot.
Right.
Whereas in Western animation, we're far more likely to have frames all move on the same rate.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've heard people tell me in American and English courses not to have things move on different frames like that.
Okay.
And that's different to like offsetting the motion and stuff. It just means that if the hair moves, it should probably be a motion where either you're just holding everything or there's a slight movement on something else too.
Okay.
Whereas in Eastern animation, they're far more likely to have like the hand moves slightly, then the hair moves on the next frame, then the blade moves on the next frame, then the hand moves on the next frame. So even though the motion's all meant to be together and affected by one another, offsetting them to different frames can make it feel smoother because there's always something moving.
Okay.
Yeah. It's interesting. Let me get back to this. I can go and check the arc of this.
I think his eyes are also moving in this shot.
They are. Yeah. Look at this, the way that he's conveying the weight of the blade is by having it hang in the air at the top and then very quickly go through the bottom arc and then hang at the top. So it's not just whoosh, 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 it's whooshum, whooshum, whooshum.
That's really important. To show weight through rhythm. Is that a good note?
Yeah. It's just much more interesting than having even timing on it. This character is so cool.
Face reveal.
Yeah. Mike noticed that the face mask is like one of the traditional face masks that they would wear in feudal Japan during war times. They would have these face masks that were modeled after demons to try and intimidate the other side, and they would have these like frowny mouths with like fangs coming up. And this face mask is modeled from that kind of shape. Super cool. Okay, again here we're looking at the thirds of the screen. You can see that he's divided into thirds, and we're seeing that our character is coming in on the right hand side here, the evil character. He's dropping his blade down here. Nice little shine there to emphasize. Bam! It's like either bouncing off the floor. No, it's just like reached the extremity of the rope and is bouncing back up. And we have our character framed on the left hand side, the main character, which is also setting up the fact that the character is going to be traveling from left to right.
Yeah.
For most of this, he'll be coming in from the left, trying to head right, and the characters coming in from the right will be a blocker to this character's progress. So, Drev's also written settling in pose, start of squash, and anticipation. So let's have a look at that.
So it starts out central composition, and then it starts this left to right pattern.
Yeah. So you can see here what Drev is saying is like we have this foot come in, anticipates hitting the ground. So we have slightly smaller spacing here, and then bam, it's down, and then squash to rest a weight on it, and then we have a bounce back and a very subtle ease, and that's it. That's all we get for him stepping in.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the spacing is so masterful on this that it feels very it feels like it's animated on more frames than it is, but they're just using their spacing extremely competently. Yeah, Oni mask. Oh, that's interesting. They have like a squash and stretch on the blade here. I don't know whether those side bits are meant to be able to expand out and come back in, or whether they're just having them do that to exaggerate the squash and stretch of it hanging in the air.
Not sure. It might. It looks.
No,
like...
it comes out.
Yeah.
So, bam, this comes down, and these side wings come out. We have them almost out, then they expand outwards, then contract back in. So it's like a very subtle bounce that we have on here. Very subtle. And then look at this lovely, this is a dimensional drawing here. So I guess you would label this under solid drawing. Just the way that the blade is tilting, and they're using that center line of it to show the angle of the blade is really nice. Makes it feel really solid. Like, you see a lot of people who are just learning how to do stuff. If they get something complex like this blade to animate, they will try and keep it always facing the same way to camera.
Right.
So if it swings, they would have basically the same drawing move.
Gotcha.
But rotating it around like this really shows that the artist is confident in handling 3D objects. Look at that lovely frame of it twisting. Yeah. It's being pulled up. Look at the stretch on the handle of the blade here, as it's pulled upwards. And then we get a blur frame, which actually I think they could have pinged out more, but you know, who am I to critique this? Look, see how the background here is moving while the frame doesn't?
Yeah.
That's again offsetting the frames. So blade goes up, hand goes down. Blade keeps going up, opposing motion. So we have this lovely arc being made here. So let's see, background smears on camera pan. Yeah, so that communicates speed. So here, we're just having the background going basically into speed lines. So we're masking the camera change, and also we're adding dynamism and speed to the feeling of this move.
But that's really interesting background design to have those neon strips leading to the character, because then you can use those to still feel like you're in a sense of place.
Yeah, Night Runner, eat your heart out. I'm thinking about that scene when you had the speed lines with the neon strips going by.
Right, yeah, it was more abstract.
So let's see. So we have, look at this great line of action here. It's just like a through curve all the way through. And the amazing overlap on this elbow and hand coming really close to the camera adds so much depth to the character. The colours are helping with that too. Having the head being shadow and the body being shadow, while you have this ping of lighting on the hand. But yeah, all of this lovely overlap where you can see the chin behind the hand is really helping to sell the 3D feel of the character here. So I'd love to like actually track the motion of this hand, because it's doing some whack ass shit right here.
Whack ass, is that a technical term, India?
It is. Look at the way that this the wrist just breaks here. It's just backwards. So we have, it swings down and back to the right. And then we have this feeling of forward momentum on this swing back, because we can see that the wrist is reversed, and then we're pulling forward again. I would be tempted to have like lingered on this more, but they haven't. They've just gone one down, one back, forward again, and up.
I'm not sure that's back.
You don't think it's back?
No.
Let's have a look. So we're gonna go whoop whoop, whoop whoop, and then back to here.
Like that's his thumb there. It's just like really bent back like this.
But in terms of the hand position,
oh right, okay.
Like we're following the arc of it down and back to here.
Oh right, I see what you're saying.
And then it's coming back up.
Yeah.
So in this case, you can see the motion, it's pulling that way because of the wrist break here, right, where the hand is being pulled back while this forearm's going forward.
I thought you meant like he twisted to sort of back and then twisted forward. I misread what you were saying.
No worries, this is like a wrist reversal. So here you can see this has been reversed. So even though the hand is back here,
yeah, we
can see that this is now pushing forward, and it's going to continue that motion up, dragging the hand with it.
Cool.
And then it comes back down again. What the fuck? It's got this lovely curve.
I guess because the way he's doing the motion is like this. To like spin it.
Yeah, I guess so. So yeah, we get this lovely curve and this lovely spiral too, where we can see that this is the way that the rope is going. Framing his face in a really nice way. These are just very competent keys. So now we're getting almost like a kind of cushioning in to this hand shape here. And it's going back in a circle. So you see there. And this is all like quite slow comparatively, because we've got his face is slowly going this way. All the frames are quite close together. That is the same drawing of the face, but they have pushed the nose that way a little bit. And now we have something happening where we have this great stretch straight up his arm, and we have the feeling of this being pulled up. I'd love to analyze this as a spiral, because I think that's the way it's working right now.
Mm-hmm.
Body stretches. Yep, here we go. Here's some Drev notes. Arc and follow through. You can see how everything is moving in a circular motion here. His hand is pulling up and away. His body's moving back. His head is rotating down but also going back. And his body is straightening out and doing a reversal from this kind of concave position to this more convex position.
Yeah. Can you leave your notes in yellow so we can distinguish between Drev's and yours?
Yeah.
Is that cool?
I've switched to yellow now.
Cool.
And then we have a little bit of slow in. Yeah. Just the frames here are a little bit closer together. So stretch into a... Can't quite read what that says. Squash? Stretch into a squash, I think. So stretch here into more of a squash position here.
Ah.
And the whip. Look at these great line of actions that we're getting. Like, right the way through. Amazing. And look how many arms he has.
3.
Yeah. This is, he's whipping his arm out from behind, and the animator obviously thought just putting it in this position
Might flash.
would be, yeah, would be too big a move. So they have added in the other drawing they would have on the same frame. So they don't have to take another, they don't have to take another exposure or drawing to do it. They're just going to add it in here instead.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Patrick! We're looking at the line animation. We're going through the Animorning challenges, which was this week to analyze inspirational animation. So look at this amazing, yeah, break model to exaggerate force of motion, says Drev. Yeah, so check out the stretch and the smear on this arm here. As this arm pushes behind and this arm comes around. We're getting like a spiral, and the hands are moving a lot, whereas the body, if you look at where the weight, center of weight is here, it's not shifting all that much, which gives you like a sense of solidity with the motion. You feel the character's grounded. You can see where they're twisting and pulling from. And there's this nice offset between this widely spaced motion and this more, I guess, this more closely spaced motion. That's all it is. The head is staying almost in the same place between these frames. See? Arc and follow through. Yeah. Look at these this amazing whip motion. I love these, the way they do these spear frames with just this like jagged edge. It's awesome. And look how the body again, it's staying very consistent, very static. You can see it's pushing backwards slightly here as he arcs his shoulders forward. So this is coming forward. As he moves his arm over and crosses his body with it. And the body is what's giving us this sense of solidity here. Yeah, squash frame. We get just like a nice hold here and slow in to this motion. This is how I know he's going to do something big. Is taking a break from the large motions for a second. So this is going to be punctuation. This is going to be some anticipation going on here. And look at this smear frame of the hand coming forward.
It's almost replacing the upper arm with the forearm.
It is, and there again you see the use of recurring shapes to create a sense of smoothness without having it jar or flash too much. Do you remember we were talking last week about that?
Yeah.
So this is the elbow in this frame. And now the elbows come back here. And the design helps a lot with this as well. Having this this sleeve that cuts off at the elbow means that you can communicate a lot just through the colour that something is.
That's true, yeah.
Like if this was red up to here,
you wouldn't feel the motion.
Yeah, it would be really difficult to parse that this was what was happening. You know, if they'd just given him longer sleeves. But instead, he has this sleeve up here, which lets us see that this is his forearm coming forward here with the wrist traveling from here up to here. And we get this amazing blur. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, it's so cool. Ah! And also you see here there's an ease in happening on his leg, which we can see communicated by the stripes. This is why character design matters in animation, guys. This is it. Because these are the things you get to use to show your characters moving. These little details, these stripes and stuff, like, they help to show rotation of form. They help to show squash and stretch. And this is why it's important to have your characters simple, but choose where you place the details, because you need those details to communicate as much as you can about the movement. Especially when something is going to be moving a lot like this character is here. So we have this start to pull down.
So let's add a comment on the side that says that character design
amazing character design
important in animation to give yourself landmark. I'm going to use the language that Patrick said in the side there, to give yourself landmarks and measuring tools.
Oh, nice. I'm going to also use that. That's a great way to say it. The proper way to say it, landmarks and measuring tools. Imagine if none of those details were on there. Imagine long sleeves, imagine like just some, you know, no stripe down here or some kind of elaborate belt instead. You know, all of the work they're doing here with this angle is communicating the curve of the pelvis. They don't need a fancy belt and fancy details to show that, because it's in the exterior lines, it's in the shape here, and the way this is going to distort. You see how it goes from being an over arc to being an under arc, and that's perfectly communicating to us where the pelvis is and what's happening with it.
Shows that it was raised up, now it's lowered down below our field of view, and it's also angled towards us more.
You know, so it doesn't need like a fancy belt with tons of stuff all over it, because everything is being communicated here. So it's like, it's a very efficient design, as well as being very striking and cool.
Plus it's a haramaki, which is of the it's appropriate for the style of the clothing that's throughout.
Oh, you're talking about the bandages?
Yeah.
Ah, I was just talking about the top of the sweatpants, but
oh
yeah, that's a really nice detail. Those little details that make it feel like it's taking inspiration from Edo period Japan.
Yeah.
Like mixed with this cyber modern fusion. Okay, so yeah, we have this amazing smear frame here. Look at that motion. That's incredible. And then the head juts forward. So we're getting this whip motion with the hand as it's traveling backwards. See how this line continues? And we get the feeling of that. And the head eases out of this position here. And just into this wham! Wham! It's amazing. I love it. It's so energetic. Like, this is the kind of thing that I would be like, you can't do that. That's too much movement. It's not. I'm learning stuff. And it's even better the fact that the body is moving realistically again, like the body is moving less than the head here, so there's like this basis of solidity that you're working from. And then we get this amazing ease in after this bam. The head even distorts a bit here. You can see that it's slightly warped this way. And then it settles in here. And then we get this lovely settle where we get a chance to properly appreciate this frame in all its glory. And the sense of movement's still going because the background's still going.
I am just watching that background. I feel like that was hand keyed somehow. Like, That
It's got
background
blur in
was
it now.
squished and stretched. Yeah.
It may well have been, you know? It gives a nice feeling of him moving forward, even though the frame's not actually changing.
Yeah.
And then you get this... Sorry, go ahead, Mike.
That's something... this is one of the responsibilities I've had in the past, is like camera tracking background movements and things. And a lot of the time I try and make it look as solid as possible.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes that's not what's appropriate. So this is cool for me to watch what they're actually doing frame by frame with the background to convey this sense of speed and motion.
Mm-hmm. Everyone should also be reading everything that Patrick is saying, because Patrick is also very eloquently describing what's making this work so well. So just to like ping back for a sec, Patrick's talking about how that belt, the bandages, the space between the horizontal lines here is communicating the squash and stretch. Like you see here, how far spaced apart they are versus here. It's really giving you a sense of that perspective. You can see whether he's squash and stretching on one side or two sides. You can really feel the stretch of that torso because it's communicated through the spacing between the lines.
The cross contours would be the horizontal lines that are around the torso.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also just really like the cleanup on this. The way that it's slightly rougher. You can see here just like the way that there's overlapping lines happening. It just gives the whole thing a lot of energy. And yeah, Savio, the mask is like an Oni mask crossed with a Tengu mask. The mask with the super long noses are Tengus traditionally. And then those bottom teeth coming up are like Oni demons. Super cool. Reminds me of the Green Goblin a little bit. I love he's got this little beanie with his horns poking through.
It's a really cool mishmash.
Yeah, and then this long hair coming out the back, which doesn't make sense with the hat, but it doesn't need to. Who cares? It looks amazing. So yeah, and then we get this amazing smear here, which is very reminiscent of the way that my pal Sean does it. Paper Bag Animator does these kinds of amazing smear frames all the time. So it's really cool to see the similarities between his work and the line here. Oh my gosh. So yeah, we have... It's almost like an ease out with this amazing... these amazing speed lines happening. Because we have this frame which is quite close to the last, but you see his arm going up. And pulling this in a curve round. The rest of the curve is implied off screen. Arc of motion for arm. Yep. We see it happening. And then... Wham! We've pulled all the way back from here. And instead, this is shooting forward. This way. So we have this amazing ease in on the arm as well. We get not Final Fantasy music happening as well. Yeah, that's incredible. And then it solidifies from the smear drawing into this blade. And we're going to follow the blade. So prepare for many more background blurs probably as we follow this blade. And again, look at the competency here in rotating the shape. This is the kind of thing that sets pro work apart, I think, is there's a confidence in rotating solid objects like this. And we're showing that it's spinning through these really fast speed lines we're getting here. You see how this is coming up, and then that motion is continued here with the speed line. It's all on curves and arcs. And again, we have like a double exposure here of it almost having three prongs, but not.
Is that what Drev meant by panoramic spheres?
I guess so.
Maybe he's talking about the background though.
Maybe. If anyone knows what panoramic smears means, let us know, because I'm not familiar with it.
Well, let's break that down. A panorama is where you take like a photograph that encompasses like about 180 degrees. So I think he's talking about the background here.
Okay.
Like the background is blurring and the camera is rotating 180.
And then look at this nice round arc we have going on.
And then you've got those
And
red
then-
flashes of the poles that were previously established.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
I feel like we're rotating around the back now of
Yeah.
it. Oh, and it's gone. So we haven't been able to catch up with it with the camera. So this is why it's rotating around, is because it's showing now that it's going away from us. The perspective is shifting to show that. And you can see in the way they're using everything they can, you know? This is just a line. But what does that line communicate? The curve gives it this energy. The frenetic cleanup gives it this speed and power. And the flare of it at the end here shows the perspective on it.
Yeah.
So we know that it's traveling fast away from us in that direction just from this one frame.
It's
That's what you can do with a line.
It's also following the curve of the same perspective of the background.
Mm-hmm. And rather than have it stay in one place, we're seeing it overlap over the top. So it's very clear where we're looking all the time. It's not getting lost in the lines of the background.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing our previously established main character just here. He's just standing. He's not even doing anything. He's not even prepared.
Do you reckon that that background was like one full painted thing, or do you think that they panned across, or do you think it was its own unique frames?
I think some of that pan was perhaps done in After Effects using effect.
I don't know if it was.
I'd love to see a making of
Yeah,
this.
me too.
Like behind the scenes. So yeah, we get this lovely impact frame here. Oh, and there they go. The circular flare out.
Shping.
Swing!
He hasn't moved.
He hasn't moved. And look at this impact frame! This reminds me of someone. Patrick. Shiny impact frames. 3 key drawing, 6 frames to anticipate explosion. That's some good counting there.
Hey, thank you for the follow.
So you see it gets deflected. Like, there's no drawing here of this dude doing anything. But we know that he deflects it simply because of the effects animation. The power of the effects animation! So yeah, your effects animators, you send them roses and chocolates and give them big hugs all the time because they've spared the animator from having to animate this scene.
Well,
So-
this is also communicating that that character is too fast to follow.
Mm-hmm. It goes with the feel. Like, he's too cool to move. He's too cool for school, man.
It
But
might
yeah.
also simply be that when you watch it, you wouldn't see him move anyway.
Maybe. Like, but they could have done one frame of him, like, with his sword up or something.
Hmm.
But anyway, they have this flare. And then we see this line go straight up into here. And then from this center, bam! Amazing impact frame. The sort of which you would see in something like Night Runner from one of Patrick's scenes. Patrick did these amazing impact frames in Night Runner of like the chandelier smashing and the owl getting his eye blasted off.
Yeah, so look at the origin. This wrist still hurts from those. Look at the origin of point of where all of those like black lines. See how like there's a burst coming from that explosion point that goes through the forms.
Yeah,
Point of impact.
exactly.
Cha-cha.
Pucha, pucha. And then, what happened?
Are you back to red again?
Boom! That happened. I'm back to yellow now. You've told me. Sorry. And camera shake to sell it. Yeah. Look at this amazing explosion. You remember we were doing explosions? You remember that?
It's cool to see that like it explodes outwards.
Keeping it uneven.
It doesn't meet resistance, and then it hits the floor and bounces off.
Oh yeah, look at this. Woo! Whoopoo! Whoopah! There we go. Big explosion. Shouldn't have hit that light. Explosion. Simple shapes can make space on the screen feel ambiguous. Wow, look at this. And then we're using that as a wipe then. So this explosion is wiping the screen. And out of the explosion we have our hero! He comes! I've never seen this technique before and I love it. This hard-edged gradient.
That's
almost
nice.
like a burn. She's like, the shadow that he's casting as he's coming out of the explosion is denoting his movement here. And here we see that his sword is coming out. And the colour starts to come in. And we have this amazing spiral happening here.
To
You
lead
see
you
this?
into the composition. Nice.
The arrow's on this side, not on that side. Ignore that! Yeah, it's spiraling up and around into him. And then we get this nice arc of his hands coming up. Here. And anticipation on this hand, which we've previously seen holding on, and now it's opening slightly. Ha, that's cool. Open, closed with one finger, and then everything's closed. He's coming closer to the camera too, in this great sense of perspective.
Wah.
His sword's coming forefront because that's what we're meant to be looking at. It's got some shakes going on here. I'm not sure if these are camera shakes. That's a new drawing.
I'm just gonna check later at the wheels of the bike, but I think
They're
the
like,
guard
you think
on
they're
his
like this?
sword, yeah, I'm just gonna check that.
Yeah, okay. We'll have a look at the end because that would be really cool.
I think we should only analyze up until the point Drev got to.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I could spend forever doing this, so it's probably best not to. Let's see how this matches. So it's interesting because I would think to match maybe this line here with something. It's pretty close.
Does his sword raise up into that space?
Have a look. I am accidentally going a bit higher than I was on the previous frame. Doesn't, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close. It's amazing. Ah, what a cool design. Impact frame again. This is your effects animators doing their thing and making things look amazing. Look, see this. Oh wow, what an ease! Look, this hand is really easing out at the beginning here. It's slowly getting further and further along. So he's running super fast towards him, but he's keeping his sword steady and slowly pulling it out of the sheath. That's so cool. Hot damn. Look at all these amazing effects flares. And we really get the sense that he's traveling fast because of these speed lines on the floor here.
I wonder if this particular shot was 3D. Yeah, I think it might have been with
Ooh.
2D effects drawn over the background.
Point of view. I love this point of view. Seeing this this bad guy start to run towards you, and then how fast that approach happens is amazing. And he still hasn't completely drawn his sword. So badass. Oh jeez, it's here. Oh man, they're really easing into that. Look at that. Look at the difference in the spacing between these and now these. And
Fast,
then
slow.
like this is where we're looking because we're looking at his face. This is the sword. Point of origin from the sword. We get this amazing flare. And then the sword slashes are denoted in these effects. Again, your effects animators, man, they're doing the work.
They're not doing the work. They're selling the motion. Never mind.
They're selling the motion, but also
everybody doing the work.
The sword slashes are denoted here by the effects animators. I think that's super cool. And then, so this is where we're looking. So this is where this dude's gonna fall into, probably. Here we come.
Patrick says that's called a pop when your spacing jumps into close space drawings.
Oh, cool. I've only ever heard pops referred to as bad things. So I didn't realize you could like utilize pops in positive ways. He's a blob.
I think what we got there was you were saying he hasn't even drawn his sword yet. I think he just hit him with his like sheath of the sword.
Oh, you think? Let's see. So, where's the sword? It's here. We can see because the effects animators are telling us where it is. Oh, wow. Look at this. Look at that. What a frame. Oh, that's so cool. So, line of action here. And we can see he's anticipating the hit here. And then the force of the hit, bam! It actually distorts this grid. Do you see how this pushes in? Do you see how if this was a flat thing, it's now doing this?
Yeah.
It's pushing in.
That's cool.
And expanding outwards in the shockwave. And the point that he's expecting to receive it, which is here, is pushed backwards to here because of the force of the hit. And his body, it's gone from straight to concave because he's having to use his leg here to brace against that hit. And he's been pushed along the floor.
I want to point out two things then.
Yeah.
That impact is a bike wheel. And CSW Illustration says, in the previous shot, it kind of resembles a bike handles when he is holding the sword. Like he is traveling forward as if he's on a bike.
Oh my gosh.
Well, they're selling the concept of cycling to you here.
That's so cool.
Like sense of speed, you're traveling on a bike.
What a great thing to notice. That's amazing. Yes, you're 100% right. That's brilliant. Wow, what genius. Genius, I tell you. Genius. Okay.
So not only have you got this really cool choreography, but they're showing you
bam
bike, like cycling related imagery to get you hyped up about cycling.
Oh, night Josie. Yeah, this is amazing. Like seeing all the little things in here to do with cycling that they've added in. Like this is designing around a theme, guys.
Yeah.
You see, I'm always talking about that. But when your theme is bikes, and you know you have to design around that, it affects everything from the effects you use to the motions you use to the characters' designs and their clothing.
Yeah.
Everything. So then we have this dispersal. I think this is the same frame here, but we're having the effects animation flare out a little bit. And then, bam! He is pushed backwards. That upper body that was receiving the force is pushed back. The force is too much. His hands are thrown outwards. And we get to see the character, presumably with his sword out here, having just landed.
It is. One of those white flashes is the sword.
Yeah. And these are the flashes of his blades being pulled backwards to show the motion of his hand. It's almost like this. And that again is the same frame, but we're following this whip around a little bit. That whip is changing and the effects are changing. They're getting away with like such economic frame use here.
Wasabi Cheetah asks, what is the frame rate of the animation versus the characters? I mean, I think the animation itself is 24.
Yeah, you'll find that almost every single animation you watch will be on 24 frames a second.
The thing at the bottom says that the frame rate on this is 37.463 frames per second. Is that the original?
I don't know if that's the original or not. But you'll find that most frame rates.
Yeah, apparently the original frame rate for the playback on this animation as it was imported was 37.46 frames per second.
I don't know if that is the frame rate they animated it at though.
Yeah, no
Because even if it imports at a different frame rate, that doesn't necessarily mean that was the frame rate it was animated at.
Yeah.
That could just mean that's what it's playing back at, and that the frames have adjusted to compensate for that.
Okay. Sync play does weird things with frame rates.
Yeah. So assume I'd assume this is animated at 24 frames a second. And you'll find that almost all animations are done at either 24 or 25 frames a second.
Mm-hmm.
The difference is how many exposures they use for different actions. The reason that most people use 24 frames a second is it gives you the option to put things on ones at 24 frames a second, as well as 2s and 3s. Okay. Whereas if you use a lower frame rate like 12 frames a second, you only have the option to put things pretty much on 2s, because every one exposure you do will count for 2 frames, if that makes sense. So I guess always assume that things are at 24 frames a second, but that characters are going to be moving on different timings.
Yeah.
Within that.
When you talk about the frame rate of a piece of media, it's just the number of frames that are played by the media. Like,
yeah, you're talking about exposures rather than frame rates.
Yeah, animators don't work in frame rates. They work, as you say, in exposures.
Yeah. So the frame rates are pretty much consistent, but the number of exposures you use for your actions within that frame rate can vary.
So if someone says 1s to you, it means there's 1 exposure per frame. If someone says 2s, there's 2 exposures to that one frame.
Drawing.
That one drawing. Yeah,
that one drawing is on screen for essentially 2 photos from the camera.
Yeah.
So 2 exposures.
And
so if you see...
If you have something that's offset, it means that different things are moving on different frames. So they don't break down as whole frames changing.
So for example, you see here how this is 1, 2, 3. Hold on, let me do this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are all frames in the animation. But that character is going, this one here, is not moving on this one. So he's 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. So he's moving on 2s. You see each drawing is on for 2 exposures, even though other stuff is moving while he's not. So the frame rate is consistent, but the character is moving on different exposures. I hope that's clear. But yeah, you get this great impact here, and then the arc is finished off. Here, it's like a smear frame, these effects.
Emlet says, do you think they skipped any kind of character reflection on the ground because it would create confusion of the motion? Ooh.
Maybe. They have these harsh black shadows that I love instead.
The environment itself, the paving stones, they're kind of reflecting light. The puddles are reflecting images. So when he came over that puddle, there may have been a chance for that. It might simply have just been it's not really needed.
They're using these black shadows instead.
Yeah.
Which are easy to handle in animation because you can draw them in animation rather than having to coordinate with your background crew to have to paint certain things in certain frames.
Yeah.
And then we get this nice settle with his blade moving slowly backwards. And I love the way they use lighting here. Like, you can see that his blade is moving backwards because the light is petering off the end of it. They do that a couple of times in this short with like the light cresting over the brim of his hat and such. And I just adore it so much. It's so nuanced.
I'm just going to read something Patrick said. Staggering your timing can make an animation feel smoother with less drawing. So it may be drawn on 6s, but each drawing alternates on 3s. So it feels like it's on threes. It's a method popularized by early video games that needed to conserve as many frames as possible.
Oh, that's amazing. I didn't know it originated with video games because I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but thought that it was just something that was done in anime because that's where I've seen it. I think in Western animation we're often encouraged to have things moving on the same frames, but in anime I've seen them stagger the motion a lot.
Gotcha.
So ease, wham, we get this amazing blur frame. His torso disappears and then he's there. And this guy is still continuing his motion. And then the hit happens. It's amazing. We've come to the end of Drev's notes, but I would encourage everyone, this is publicly available, you know, we'll give you the link to this. I encourage everyone to look through the rest of this animation because it's amazing and there's so much to learn from this. Look at that beautiful posing. Oh, the posing is so beautiful. Can't take it. These artists.
We'll also try and find out. I think from the Line website, I remember seeing they have all of the credits for the people that worked on this.
These colours as well, Mike.
Yeah. So I would highly recommend everyone go check that out and follow and find the people that made this.
That cloth looks like Patrick animated it. It's the kind of cell I've seen Patrick do. Even the cell here on his hood, notice how they're offsetting the left and right sides to add a bit more texture to it. Not everything's happening at the same time.
Another central composition.
I just wanted to look at my favorite. This is my favorite scene in it because it's so effing badass. Look at the brim of the hat. Look at the way that the light travels over it. And it shows you that dimensionality. That's so cool. Oh, it's so cool. Look at that settle. Oh man, the way that everything rotates up. Everything, oh man, the way the folds are like so consistent. Oh! So cool. Okay, I want to see the wheels. No, it looks like the wheels.
The inner one is a more complicated version of it. See on the front wheel, there's an inner wheel near where the spokes are.
Like I'm seeing, yeah, it's got like this kind of thing going on.
Yeah, so that central bit is a simplified thing of the hilt.
Simplified version of it, yeah. Because I'm seeing like this kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
But let's have a look at his sword hilt again. Show me your sword hilt. Yeah, it's just got that spiral.
Yeah.
But it's not. Like you said, it had to be simplified. I bet you could go and look at this bike and find a bunch of design things from the main character that are taken from this bike. I just know you could. All right.
I'll give you the next link.
We have to move on.
You just spent an hour on that one.
I'm sorry.
It's worth it.
Look at this. Okay. Sorry. Right. Use corners as tracking elements and cloth a lot. Huh. It's also why characters flicker or blink a lot in games to indicate damage or powering up. It can make it feel smoother if each drawing alternates between being dark and light. Our brain treats it as an in-between. Interesting. Where is this from, Titan Roboduck? This is an animation by The Line to advertise a bike. So if you haven't seen The Line animation studio, I recommend looking at them and looking at all their work and just enjoying it.
I'm just going to take a moment to look at our stream thing. I've linked you it, so...
Okay, I will go and find that link.
Wait,
Yes?
Are we... Why am I... Are we showing something weird?
What?
No, sorry. I just looked back at my stream manager and it looks like we're still on starting soon.
We can't be.
Yeah,
because people have been commenting on the animation. So
I know. I don't know why it's been weird.
There's no way.
I freaked out.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. Don't even worry about
It
it.
took a moment to reactivate. Cool.
Nice job, Drev.
Oh my god.
Looking at this. And now we're looking at B. Is it
Shut up,
BNA?
Tibbs. I got freaked out and that's not funny.
Oh, Mike, it's okay. Don't worry, everything is fine.
I've utterly broken my layout now. Cool. Yeah.
Night night, Patrick. We'll keep you updated. You get some sleep. And thank you very much for looking through that with us, because definitely hearing you put it into more eloquent words than I can is extremely helpful.
Embarinth.
Patrick, if you ever want to just do an analyze animation stream sometime, then I think we'd all learn a lot.
Martin Sazna, Irish and Sketchy, Professor of Nothing, Evil, Vini, Plankrius, and Emberinth. Thank you very much for the follow. I finally got that out. Thank you.
Oh wow, I'm sorry. I'm terrible.
Yeah.
I'm terrible, guys. I got too carried away. So, this is a brand new animal. And who is analysing this?
I should say...
Edits by Gyro Mighty.
There you go.
Thank you, Gyro Mighty, for popping that on there. I appreciate it. Let's watch this through first and have a look.
Let me play it then.
I mean, I will tempt you, Patrick, because we'd all learned so much.
Alright, y'all ready?
Yeah. This is really cute. Oh, man. Oh, what a great motion. Oh, man. Yeah, that's fun. All right. Night, night, Pat. Let's see. Okay, so I'll turn back on these edits. Let's see. So, first of all, this looks really cute. I haven't seen this series, so I can't say, you know, I won't be able to spoil anything, so don't worry about that. So yeah, again, look at this. We have this center line here, extremely helpful in showing rotation.
He's got one on the back as well, I think.
I can't see one at the back. I can see the belt details here.
Yeah.
Rotating around. And then, yeah, you see how they're using this to show the depth here? It's good design! And yeah, arc. We have this arc going on. Again, the curve of this belt is really showing us the dimensionality of the character. And as this is coming around, the head is rotating this way. So we get this nice feeling of like opposing motion. Everything is moving at like at opposites to one another. Ah! It's really cute. The head is being dragged down by the body, which is moving across. And here you see as it moves across more, the head is dragged down more. But the eyes are still rotating that way.
My tea's gone cold.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
It's my own fault.
And then we have this cute twist with the legs compressing inwards here. Oh, ease. 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 It has this nice ease going in. So
India yellow.
I am yellow.
Okay.
What's wrong?
Nothing.
Yeah. So you really need these detail lines here, because if you see the shape kind of remains a bean, it does change slightly. The body scrunches up here, as Gyro has said, but because the body more or less stays this shape the entire way through, it makes it even more important to be able to note the twist. You see how they're showing the twist here through these surface details.
Yep.
And then look at this cool stretch frame where we have basically the nose and the mouth staying in the same place, but we're starting to pull down on the face. Body scrunches up. Here it goes. Oh my gosh, she's like wiggling towards her. So it's like the body scrunches up in preparation for this, for pushing forward with her butt, presumably. Boop.
Yeah, I guess
Boop.
so. Like the feet don't even plant.
Yeah, it's just I'm curling up and now I'm boop. I'm coming forward. Yeah, and as they come forward, we get the body twists around to show that the force is being pushed up here. The torso and legs go different speeds. Yes. So we can see this texture being added in the different speeds. A new arc. Yeah, so you see here how the arcs are very similar. Like, because it's curved on both ends, basically. So that center line here that Gyro is showing is even more important than usual. You know, if you have a character who is basically a bean.
The legs, the pelvis is just like it's twisting off of this character. If the midriff, the torso part is going one way and the legs are going the other.
Yeah, pretty much. You're getting away with a certain suspension of realism here because the character is so cartoony. But yeah, if you have a character like this, like you want to consider doing something like, you know, giving it some kind of center line so that when that rotates, you know which way the character's rotated, because the body would be basically the same shape no matter which way you looked at it from. Bah! So look, very small spacing, very even spacing happening here on the push-up. The push-up is in fact easing in a little bit here. But then we have this sudden BAM! Out of the legs. Bam! So, again, we know that close spacing versus uneven spacing equals texture in your timing and interest. I'm just going to write opposing spacing. Or rather different spacing. And then we have this ease in. And the legs ease in. And then they're doing something. The legs are okay. So we ease into this hold. And then the legs are going to keep going. Which gives us, again, these anime is a great place to look for economic frame usage. You know? This keeps it alive with the animator having to do relatively little.
Yeah, so they've Gyro's saying that the main action here on this little baseball dog, I guess, is the feet tapping. Because then it's just lip sync at that point.
It is. Except where we're looking as the audience is here.
Yeah.
Because as humans, we're drawn to faces. We are undeniably, uncurably drawn to faces. So this is happening in our periphery. But it keeps the motion, it keeps the character feeling alive.
Periphery.
Okay, fine. I'll make sure the H is in there. I'll show you the power of my H. Periphery. There you go.
Okay.
It's readable. It's readable. I feel bad for anyone whose first language is not English for my terrible handwriting, which must make everything so much harder. Okay.
Yeah.
We're doing a little ease into this. Oh my gosh. Look at this. The butt come out. The butt come out. They've cheated a little bit here. With this line. They should really give that another frame to just disappear over. Rather than it just disappearing. Because the spacing on that line is relatively close and then it's just gone. But yeah, they have this great shape of this book coming out, which shows us this arced back along with the shadow.
I think Gyro marked out the shadow in one of the next up and coming. Yeah.
Yeah, shadow helps illustrate that the back is leaning up 100%. Look at this ridiculous curve. I don't know how a body would do this, but their body is doing it. And I suspect they just had keyframe here. Key. And then keyframe here. Key. And rather than do any kind of realistic motion, they've just tweened between the two. The body just kind of does its thing. Oh, and the claws have gone. I wonder if that was intentional or a mistake. Because they're back then. Who knows? Not I. But you see how nice little landmarks like this are being used to show the rotation of the elbow. There. It's nice. So we just have this amazing squirming animation. And I'm pretty sure I saw... No anticipation here. No anticipation, guys. We just... BAM! BAM! You see, these are the things where you think maybe you have to ease or you're not going to be able to get away with them, but you don't necessarily need to.
It depends on the appropriateness of the character acting.
It does. Like, how surprising do you want it to be? And Gyro's like pointing out here all the nice arcs that things are traveling on. So if you look at the feet here, that Gyro has marked out.
Thank you for the follow.
They're going along this really nice curve here, which helps the motion all feel cohesive and convincing. Like, if you wanted it to feel more frantic, you wouldn't have to use necessarily the arcs. You can choose when you want to use stuff like this, but this really helps tie the motion together and make it feel smoother. So we just have a BAM. That they are rotating, and BAM! Now look at this, look at these little smears we get. So the leg goes out, and then either this leg comes over, or it goes back in.
What's Wes Sabichita says, I went to go find the studio that did the MLB, the show 17 trailer, and it's Golden Wolf. It's that trailer that intrigued my search to find him. I'm not sure what you're referring to.
Golden Wolf are another great studio.
MLB? Is that like My Little Brony? What's MLB?
My Little Brony is a show that should be made.
Golden Wolf.
Yeah, I know it's going over this way because the larger shape would trail the smaller shape.
Okay.
So,
let me see. Well, that one sec.
This arc is continuing here.
I'll click that later.
And look here, we have 3 arms. We have this great smear here as well, because this is the hand arc that we're wanting to go in. So again, like this fast motion, they're getting in more frames without needing to actually add the drawings by just putting the same drawings over the top of the frames you already have. They're adding in the extra spacing that they need without needing to add extra drawings for it. Super clever. And then bam.
Hi.
They're just there. They're just there. Oh wow, what the hell? What's happening with this animation? It's amazing. It's just a Scrabble. I call things Scrabbles when there's a frantic motion and the animator is trying to convey the franticness of it by having seemingly unrelated frames popped in more about the same place. Especially when something is being kept more consistent. Like the general part of the screen that this character is taking up is remaining consistent, but the actual thing they're doing, although their head is like rotating, we can see that their body is like all over the place.
Can you play that? So
yeah.
we can see that actually...
Lupin does that a lot. they have a lot of scrabbles, which really shows just like a kind of motion. Let me find the play button.
Yeah.
Look how fast that is.
So you think maybe what that is supposed to be is like a reel up and then a slam back. So it's like this.
It's like a corkscrew in the air. She's like flinging herself up, doing a turn in the air, and then slamming back down. But the thing I'm interested in is the impact here, because the impact here is amazing. So we have this super fast spin, which I'm convinced is on ones, but it's completely on ones with sync sketch, which is why I know it's screwing with the frame rate.
Right.
Because there's no way that's not on ones. There's just no way. Okay, so we have this all happen. And then we have this key pose here. And then bam! You see how they sell the impact of how hard she slammed her face into the ground through the water. The water's like, I'm out! The force at which she's hit the floor has flung the water into the air. And then we get this amazing camera shake too, which is really selling it. And we get an ease. So does a slight hold. And then an ease in. And the water's just gone. But look how much the water is selling this. Isn't that great?
It's just out.
It's just out. And those camera shakes make such a huge difference. Such a huge difference. And then we get this ease as they're pushing slowly forward. Their butt is coming up. Their head is going down. And then what's happening here? This is anticipation. So the paws come in, ready to push up. The back arcs, ready to pull the head up. So you can see that the tail is going down as the knees come together, the hands come together, the back pulls back, and the head follows. There we are. The arms straighten. And ears!
Watch the head and ears. Where'd the ears come from? Oh, there.
There they are.
Gotcha.
They're right here. I'm going to put them on this frame too so we can see them. There we go. Head come up, but go down. That's the way you do your body. That's the way you sit up. Head up. And then we continue that motion. Oh! And it's like an ease all the way up. Look at this expression. So we have anticipation. You could call that an ease out if you wanted. Up. And then we get one more up frame. And then bam! Straight back down. And look at the hair here. The way that this is splitting apart and really showing us the speed. We've got speed lines happening on the hair. And the hair is like being pushed up and over. And yeah, the ears as well. We're now seeing the inside of the ears because they folded back against the head.
No, we're not. I think those are the eyes.
No way. Hit so hard, it went white. Are you sure?
I feel like...
Do you think? But no, but you've got a point, haven't you? Are they just leaving the eyes on the screen? That'd be amazing. I just want to draw attention to the spacing though. So we have like... This is the pose where they're at the bottom and they have their head down on the ground. We get anticipation. We get them up. And then we get this other frame of them being even further up. And then we go from that right back down. So you can see the difference in spacing is like we're doing this little nice ease out, ease in motion. And then bam, straight back down to the ground again.
And then bam. You've said that at least 15 times this morning.
I'm sorry.
That's fun.
I'll come up with a different one.
And then animation.
And then zoop.
And zoop.
Look, Even Gyro's put bam.
They have indeed put bam.
They disappear. No, you're right. It's the eyeballs. Because look, the ears are here.
Yeah.
So the eyeballs. So they're putting the eyeballs over the hair to show the arc and to show that they're being pulled down.
Because they're still looking at them intensely.
Wow. That's crazy, yo. Whoop! Whoop, whoop, whoop. Bam. And then the eyeballs have disappeared. And we get this like little settle frame.
Emlet's wondering what do they do then? Are there similar smears later on? Because they hit their head a few times.
Yeah, let's have a look, because this is going to be like a cycle, but they might throw in a few different frames to make it feel less like a cycle than it is. So we get this initial bam frame, which has the hair flaring up and the eyes, and then settles, and then we're up again. No anticipation this time. And we get this extreme frame again of them easing up. And then again, we get this this smear frame with eyes bam down. And then we don't get a settle frame anymore. They're going faster now. So we get the same up frame as before, but now they're even more smeared. So the eyes are continuing to travel down while the head is raising up. So we get this double set of eyes where the eyes are like almost dragging behind the action on the same frame as the eyes are being pulled up. So there's almost like a whip motion with the eyes. And I can't tell if this is meant to be the mouth or if this is just the nose smearing again.
I think it's the nose, because the mouth has like a peach color in Bill. Yeah.
And look, Gyro's going, yay, smears! And also Gyro's noticed that they're breaking the joints here. You see how this has a convex curve in it now?
Yeah.
It's like hyperextending.
Yeah. So
hyperextending is when you kind of pop your joint out of its socket in order to, like, ballerinas do it a lot.
Really?
Yeah, and there's a lot of people say you can't be a ballerina unless you can hyperextend your legs.
Yeah.
And your legs kind of look almost like they go backwards. Because the curve reverses.
That gives me weird feelings. Like, you know, that sort of like spine chill.
But yeah, we have a reversal, which adds power to it. And then bam, back down to the smear frame. Back up to the smear frame. Back down to the smear frame. Back up to the smear frame. Down, up. Down, up. Down, up. Oh no! So this one holds for a little bit longer, and you can see the shake settling down a little bit.
What is the blue note?
The blue note.
Yeah, go right. That one.
Camera shake.
Okay.
So all of these slams are accompanied by camera shakes the entire time. I love this expression, which is like, I've hit my face too many times now. So anticipation, we're easing up.
For this final strike.
Easing up and the eyes are squeezing closed.
I think she's changed position now.
Let's have a look.
Mira, though, has hypermobility.
So from this to...
Or Miratho.
To
is
this.
It Miratho or Mira, though?
There we go. So she's gone slightly further back.
She's going out of frame more as well.
Yeah. But just they need that room to anticipate. Like, so much of the hit is to do with anticipation and spacing, you know? So in order to add variance to the timing, they could just have it go bam, 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 please. But instead of having it go bam, 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 bam.
Yep.
Which is much more fun to watch. Sorry, I said bam so many times.
Zoop, zip, 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 zip. It's got less impact. You gotta go bam.
And then, yeah, this great curve here. And look at this impact. It's like they're taking chips out of her colour work here. or her line work. Oh my gosh.
No, she's going through the floor.
But they've got this as well, which is, I'm assuming, not the floor. This is just like a way of doing a smear.
No, I think she's burying her head into the floor because the next frame has her going through.
It does, but I don't think that's meant to be the floor coming up.
Okay.
Because I feel like if they were going to do that, they would have overlapped that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I would have overlapped that if I wanted her going into the floor.
Okay.
But if I want her just going down, I would be like, ba 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 ba. But it works either way. And then we get... I love the way that in a lot of the things I see, what I'm learning is that you have the impact and then you kind of hold for a split second. And then you have the smoke, the explosion, like the big blowout. So this character meets resistance. We get this impact happening here with the dust, and then bam, they're through the floor. They're through the floor. How do you show that your character is like bowing so vehemently that, you know, they are making the entire world shake? Well, don't just stop at having them like hit their head on the floor. Just have them like go straight through the floor. I love the amount of exaggeration that anime has. It's fantastic. This cracks me up. So the butt is pulling up here and the leg is trailing. And then we get this amazing reversal where the legs just flop over like it's just a rag doll. It just flops like a fish. And then this one starts pulling back while this one's still traveling forward. Again, we're offsetting these legs to add interest and just fun. And it's bouncing back up here. And that's it over. Oh, I'm sad. But yeah, that's a settle. We can see by the fact that these both settle at different rates. It adds a lot of impact to it. There's something really nice about that bam. And then just cutting straight to them being through the floor. Because you could have gone straight from this to that. Instead. But instead we get the floor connect with the head. And then we get them go through it. I think it makes it feel more powerful because it feels like there's more resistance against the character. They can't just go straight through it like it's paper. There's a second of the floor pushing back.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, Mike, for handling things in chat.
No worries.
I want to watch it again.
Go for it.
Look at this. Trying to work out what they're doing here because it's so like... It's so zany and cool and fun and different. So great. That's amazing. Bam, 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 bam. Oh, I love it. That's so cool. I wish that we could get the animators who animated these scenes to come and analyze them.
Yeah, that would be really
so
cool.
We can really hear like the intent behind it and them explain in their own words why these techniques work so well. Man, though, that's so fun.
It makes me sad that Trashbot can't use the BTTV emotes.
How come?
Because they're trying to do I think this, I don't know if this will work either. They're trying to do that.
Oh, I see, but it doesn't work. I see. Alright, let's move on to the next one.
Maybe it's because I've got those semicolons around it. That's probably why. That's probably why. Yeah.
Although if people don't have it installed, they still won't be able to see it.
I'm going to try.
Can you link me to the next one first?
Yes. So the next one is analyzed by Grog. I think. Try to reconnect.
Oh my gosh, Miratho says, good morning. What a time to pop into chat to mention that I have hypermobility and all my joints do that. Wow!
How do you even stand up?
Wow! That's amazing.
Ah. Okay.
Let's see. Tip says, it does feel like that BNA clip was in between by someone who didn't know as much about conserving volume. The opening section is fairly broken, but when it gets to the heavily keyed out part, it's a lot stronger. Interesting.
Here you go. I think this should work.
Okay. Yeah, this bit in particular feels just like it's like you had two keys and we just straight in between them. Wap, 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 wap. This is how I walk. Wap, 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 wap. This is how I talk. Wap, wap, wap. Anyway. I shouldn't be wasting time considering that this going through these takes me
an hour each.
Oh, okay. Hey, it's Grog!
Yeah, it's Grog.
Grog's doing OKKO. Let's have a look. Get wrecked. I've never seen this show.
Oh, I need to hit the play, right?
You do.
Okay, here we go.
Oh my gosh, this is cool. Oh, wow, fun. Fun. I like it. It's fun.
That looks like... So, the background looks like it's a textured cylinder that they're able to actually move the camera around. If it's not that, that's how I would do it. Sorry, every single one of these backgrounds...
I like that your perspective on this is, how did they do the background though?
Yeah. Well,
it looks like that, yeah, it does. You're right. That's definitely a 3D background if I ever saw one. I think they could have had more impact on this here by using their spacing more, but I'm not here to critique. I'm here to admire.
Yo, thanks for the follows.
So yeah, fire barely moves. It's on 3s. Doing more with less. That's true. And I like the way that it anticipates going out of frame by both moving backwards. Like the words get move backwards and the turbines, I don't know what you call them, exhausts. The exhausts grow larger to anticipate that they're going to fly off.
That's cool.
And there they go. They fly off past the camera because that's more dynamic than just going off straight sideways. It's very economic though. Like you can see it's very economic. Like the blocks aren't moving separately to one another. They're just two images that are being pushed off screen. There's no rotation happening.
Man, if I had taken that shot, I would have modeled each one of those. Put it in 3D.
Needlessly. Needlessly, my friend.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we have a nice center shot here. Looking at them using thirds. The golden ratio.
That's not the golden ratio, India.
What's the golden ratio, Mike? Is that the spiral?
Yeah.
What's the... did they just call these thirds?
I think this is rule of thirds, although... Grog's... They're a little lower than they should. It doesn't matter. It's a rule. Usually said rule of thirds, whereas the golden ratio is like the, as you said, the spiral. The golden spiral.
So rule of thirds then. It just feels like it should have a different name.
Sorry.
It's okay. So we're following here. We can see Grog is following the path of the screen right hand. I'm learning my lefts and rights through doing this, I can tell you.
Pablo, did you submit one of these? Because I don't think I've grabbed yours yet. Rockers? Rockers? I don't know what that is.
Huh? I'm sorry?
I'm reading the note from Grog.
Right?
Is that rockets? Rocket exit.
Oh,
screen
I didn't know you were trying to read something on screen. I thought you were reading something in chat. I was like, I'm sorry, what? Yeah, rockets exit screen right, re-enter screen left, so the sense of direction is maintained. So you see these blocks go off, they come back on here. So the sharp edges added to the line art for that speed. Yeah, so essentially they're trying to convey the speed through adding what would be considered speed lines to the line art here, having the shape cut into by what would be the camera blur if it were live action. And then we have the back arm going out. Back arm is just folding out, I'd say, but it's moving at a different rate to the front arm, which is great, making you feel like you're already coming in with him running with this very iconic contact pose. Contact poses are so readable and so good for conveying, hey, I'm running. Let's see. And then we get this anticipation, where not much moves, because anticipation. Big satisfying arc. Agreed. Whole bunch of squish. And now stretch! And look at the way they're stretching, not just in terms of having the body expand outwards because they're pushing up with their leg and the body is like straightening out, but they're also pulling that face down and essentially transforming it. And now there are less speed lines on the box because it's not as close to the camera. And things tend to move faster when they're closer to the camera, just as a rule of thumb. And here come the box. So the stretch is less toony after the extreme frame. So he compresses a little bit and just makes it over.
That's also because he's slowing down in the air. Like there's an initial force and then gravity will slow you down in your arc.
Well, if you think about it as in the squash and the stretch, then you have a stretch like a rubber band.
Yeah.
And then after you stretch the first bit up, the lower part has to catch up with it.
Yeah.
So what's happening here is that we're having a stretch like a rubber band, and then as his legs come up, his entire body is compressing back into its regular model.
Yeah.
And we have speed lines, slight smear, the slight speed, but line art emulates speed lines. I just like this in between. It's a great expression. Whew! I am the ultimate life form. It's Shadow.
No. Grog's shadow rolled us.
Yeah. And then you see how the legs are moving at different speeds here. So we have this leg come up, then this leg come up. So we feel like one of them is trailing. So even though both the hands are in the same position, there's like a slight difference in the two sides. It's not super symmetrical. Because you could easily have the legs from here just go up at the same rate. But instead we have one linger behind and then they both come up.
I feel like they could have used the character's eye gaze to anticipate the next box coming in. I don't know if he's still jumping over it or not.
Yeah, that would be great actually. It's a great idea. Is having the eyes like ping down here to be like, oh, do the box. Also look at the way that they are using here. Again, the contour lines of the body. So we have the hip line here being denoted by the top of the pants, essentially the belt line, going from what is a down-facing curve to an up-facing curve as the body rotates around, which gives us this feeling of form. Look at those amazing lines that I drew. Because you can see everything wrapping around. You can very much see the construction of this character being like, this is the shape, and this is the curve of the belt, and this is the way the other things are going to curve around it.
Yeah, he's kind of like a half capsule shape.
Yeah.
With like a circle top. I don't know, can't really see his shoulders because of the head. But that's what it feels like.
So then we have stretch, which is his feet come down to anticipate the landing. And then squash. Extreme squeeze!
Tibbs saying the golden ratio is nonsense. It's just based on one of many logarithmic spirals that happen to look fairly nice. Logarithmic spirals appear a lot in nature. People erroneously attribute them all to the golden ratio. Gotcha.
But Tib, the golden ratio though. Have you heard the good word of the golden ratio? I wonder why they didn't keep the hair travelling up here. Like that. Would it have destroyed the reed on the hand? And then had it going like that and then come down? Maybe it felt like too much. But yeah, we have whap! He's anticipating the landing and squash! He landed on it! I think what would have helped this a lot actually would have been shadows. They have a shadow here.
Yeah.
Whoop.
Well, that's maybe why Grog added another one.
What?
Grog added another shadow.
Ah, I get the joke. I was in animation brain. I was like, what are you saying that's going to be helpful to my review? Oh, nothing. Okay.
I thought...
Burn.
Fudge, man.
Like, knowing that he's going to land on this,
Yeah.
I think would have been helpful. Because on this frame, I'm not 100% sure whether the overlap just isn't completely working and he's jumping past it, or he's landing on it until that frame.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a shadow would have helped a lot. And then we have this explosion happen behind him, which throws him off. He's getting ready to jump, and then that propels him forward instead. He's pushed by the force of the explosion. Ah! He's still jumping, though.
Yeah. How is he able to jump off of the rocket that's not there anymore?
Well, I think it's meant to be like flung with the force of the explosion a little bit, and then it becomes a jump. But it's this foot which is throwing me off, because this foot is staying consistent in space, which makes me feel like it's meant to be planted on something.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like it's meant to be like this. And then he's off.
Maybe it works in motion.
Oh, it does work in motion because we've seen it, but it definitely feels like that would be where he takes off. Interesting. I wonder whether these cubes were animated by a different animator.
Possible.
Strong silhouette on the key pose. Yeah, that's a really nice silhouette. Good call. Stretch comes after the jump because the motion is so speedy. Yeah, maybe. Like, maybe this is like thrown forward here, and then the body kind of follows that. I think the thing which is throwing me off is this foot. Like, if this foot went maybe behind instead. And then came forward, I think I would have less of an issue. I think it's because it looks like the foot is planted. That's throwing me off a bit with that.
Yeah, if it works in motion, Skullus is saying, but if it works in motion, doesn't it matter what a still frame looks like? I mean, that's the whole point, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Like, it does help to go in and look at how they've done it and why things are working. But yeah, 100%. If things work in motion at the end, then that's the most important thing.
Yeah. Max Collin forwarded it, according to Ethan.
Ooh.
Is he the same guy who did that Sonic
Yes.
shark explosion thing?
He is.
Okay.
It's a very good animator. So see, we've got a squash happening here at the top of the jump, and a rotation as well as he's coming round. There's a stretch, but the way that they really lead into these stretches is interesting. I'm used to seeing stretches as punctuation, but the stretches here are in between into.
Right. Interesting.
Like, rather than having I'm jumping and now I'm landing, we have like 2 or 3 in-betweens between these two, where they're getting more and more elongated. It gives it like a really nice, soft kind of pliable feeling to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it feels very smooth and soft and like not goopy, but
like he is actually made of that sort of material.
yeah, there's like an elasticity to it. So it gets way more intense, yeah. So that's the beginning of the stretch. And then that's the actual stretch.
So is that so that maybe the face is around the same area for long enough for you to kind of read?
It definitely helps you read the face, yeah.
Yeah.
But it also helps you anticipate the smear, or helps you anticipate what's happening. You're essentially telegraphing more to the audience what's going to happen. Which is that he's going to like land here, push down.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have these smears again on the arms. And again, they're not using the hair as much as I thought they would with this. Like, I'd be tempted to drag the hair behind, but the hair is just coming down with the body. And then this is nice. Look at this little nice arc here. Going back into space. As we see the head overlap the body, it becomes obvious that they are we are looking essentially down on them, and these are coming forward in perspective. Super cool. I really like the way that the head overlaps more and more through this motion, and they have this really nice arc going on. Let's see. Hold squash frame. If squash stretch got too intense, this scene would be too manic and unreadable, so holding this frame keeps up the momentum and readability. Cool. The hands come out! The hands! The hands going from balls to fingers for acting purposes. Yes. And then that's the actual frame. Again, like, I'd be tempted to go straight from this into that to give it more of a feeling of force. But we have a couple of in-betweens again where it comes up into this.
Mm-hmm.
And then, bam, we have this stretch and this reach. And the perspective here, well, you can see, he's like, I'm a wedge shape now. I am cone! I have become cone!
Master of cube.
Yeah. And here the force of him pushing away on his feet as well as rotating this cube in the background, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
You can see as he pushes it away, it's tilting more and more because of the force of his feet pushing on it.
That's nice.
And then that's nice. So we see his feet come up, hands come down, as his body straightens out into this dive. And the feet are staying pretty much in the same place. They have very tight in-betweens on them. Whereas the head and the hands are coming forward faster because, like I said earlier, things passing by the camera close move faster. Which is a really good way to get convincing perspective. Is the further away something is, generally the slower it's going to move.
It's because of perspective, as you're saying.
Yep. For example, if you have a car drive by a camera with the camera right up close to the car, it's going to be on there for maybe like 4 frames.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a car drive past the camera 20 miles away, it's going to be on there for like a good 80, 100 frames.
Yes.
And it's the same thing with coming close to the camera. It's a feet are further away, so they're travelling slower in terms of spacing. Whereas we're getting more of an enlargement on the hands here. One of the ways to that we tried to push Night Runner was rather than on the zoom-ins just having the cam zoom on a flat image, Pat actually animated the parts closer to the camera getting larger faster.
Yeah, you can see that particularly in a shot with Big Bag Stag in the car where it pulls out from the woman's hand on his chest, the legs and the torso and the head. I think they were all animated separately.
Yeah.
I think the shot that you feel it most is probably the one where the bullet is about to hit his chest.
Yeah, so we're zooming towards him, but it's an animated zoom. It's not just zooming into a picture of him. We actually see the chest loom over the camera.
Yeah. You could see that attempted by Palbro in last week's Animorning Challenge as well, with his animation of the character from, I keep wanting to say Steven Universe. What is his name? Versus the World?
Oh, Scott Pilgrim.
Scott Pilgrim. Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Thank you, Palbro. My brain, is that a note of like if they had shadows?
It's just a note of, again, like, I would like to know where the camera is in depth.
Yep.
Compared to this. So I would want to put shadows on it. I love rolls. Rolls are some of the funnest things to animate. Look at this cool, beautiful frame here where his head tucks up and you get this, again, there's a delay on one of the legs to add interest to it. Oh, look at this ease. So this is what Pat was talking about with the pop. So this is all like in between. And then we have this pop up to here and then an ease. And look at this smear. Now entering Smear Town, USA, says Grog. Oh, look at all these beautiful smears. And you see how his arms are straightening now.
Mm-hmm.
As he's pushing off. I think I would have been tempted to push that curve a bit more so that we felt more of the reversal. Spacing was not extreme because it's a slow in, but the smear accentuates the speed of the action. Yeah, the smear makes it feel fast even though the spacing is actually quite tight.
Yep.
And I actually, like, I really dig the style of, like, easing into these smears because I haven't seen people do it a lot.
I'd like to see this played through again.
It's got a really interesting effect. Look at this! This is beautiful! Oh, I love this. The body's distorting. Oh, wow. So this is, like, rotating around here.
Mm-hmm.
While this is rotating the opposite direction, so we're getting, like, a spiral here. Everything is following these beautiful curves and arcs of motion, which makes it feel very smooth and pleasing. And the hair here is dragging in a really nice way. We're essentially getting him going into a spiral.
I think he was also slightly twisting the cube as well.
Well, the cube starts to, like, distort here.
Yeah, it's just super cool.
Yeah, and the cube is stretching here because you would have it end here if you wanted it to be a cube. But instead it's going all the way up here and potentially behind him. So it's really stretching. And
all right, using the chat, making fun of me not remembering the thing.
Yeah, and this foot's coming by super fast. So you see it's coming here, then it's here, then wham, it's down here. Whereas this foot is actually more or less staying in the same place but still smearing. The body's moving a lot though. The pelvis is acting kind of like the anchor here. Oh ha ha! That's awesome! Wow! Look how cool that is. We just know that the box is white. That's all we need to know about the box. Again, the simplicity of the character design is allowing them to do stuff like this. If you had a Final Fantasy character doing this, it wouldn't be nearly as readable. You know,
they're almost replacing that foot smear with the box smear.
Yeah. 100%. You see repetition of shapes here again. How these frames aren't actually that similar, but denote a really large amount of space for the character to travel. But the shape of them is more or less the same.
So the foot on that frame is very similar to where the rocket thing was in the previous frame.
Yeah. So cool. That allows it to feel smooth even though they're traveling a really, really large amount of space.
Nice.
Yeah. And again, like what we're seeing is a blue block go from this size, which is very small relatively, to this size, which is very large. So it feels very dynamic and like they're traveling a really long time, even though the overall exterior shape isn't traveling that much.
So you see that piece of peach skin, is that representing their arm, you reckon?
It could be. I like seeing it as a mouth. Because it's like,
Rah! In the still, it was like, that's a mouth. But yeah.
But yeah, it would make sense for it to be the arm.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I think this is the box whipping over their head.
Yeah.
Yes, I have become Spiral, destroyer of worlds. It continues. Big smear, whoa. Yes, it does continue. They have changed design. They are now... They are now this character. And that's the beauty of 2D, ladies and gentlemen. So I think they're just following the colours now around like a Catherine wheel. And it's less about what part represents what. And more just about, we going. We going. I'm a Catherine wheel. I'm literally a Catherine wheel. And then we're coming out of the smear. So we're starting to re-establish where everything is. Smears reduce in intensity before stopping, but are still there. That's a slow out, baby, says Grog. So yeah, again, you see that the shape is remaining largely the same, but now we're bringing the detail back.
That's really cool.
And parts now are stopping the smear. So now we've only got the feet smearing. Rotation. Again, these are quite close together. See how the line art here at the bottom has changed.
No, it's a wibble.
Now it's a wibble. They're literally in betweening their smears.
Yeah.
Which I have not seen before. It's super interesting. Key pose, if I've ever seen one. Smear stops for the key pose. Yeah, Grog knows it. And then we have this ease into this motion. Plenty of frames for momentum to build, making the action feel super weighty. Yep. They're having to really like get ready to slam this. And we know this is going to be a super forceful motion because of the amount of frames we have here building up to it. That's anticipation.
Holmes.
And then bam. We have, and then zip. We have this coming over the head.
I want a t-shirt now that
Huge arc. And the fire is really helping here.
That just says, that's anticipation, Holmes, and just have like a picture of Sherlock Holmes on it.
Nice.
I don't know why.
Probably because that's levitation, Holmes. We've got the power.
That's probably it, yeah.
To move frames. Let's go. We get those spear lines again.
Discombobulate.
They forgot to put the purple on.
What?
They forgot to put the purple on. The seam.
Oh no.
Oh no. That's okay. No one cares. No one sees it. I spend my life doing this, guys. I spend my life now going through people's frames and going, you forgot to put the purple on. The sad truth is, no one would even notice. No one would even notice.
But you noticed, and that's what matters.
So, have the slow ease, and the arms are doing most of the work here. And then back into this key pose.
It's interesting that they have the full hand like line art, but added the smears in addition to it.
Yeah, gotta be honest with you. Don't know if I dig that.
Yeah.
I think, if it were me, I would have taken away these lines. So that it feels like it flows more into the shape of it.
Yeah.
Without blocking it off. But this must be a style thing for this show.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've chosen to do it this way. So good on them.
It might just be a clarity thing.
Look at this great face smear as well. Mippy. Whoopoo, whoopoo. And then
another key.
A pop into this key here. Like they travel towards it, but it really is more of a pop. And then we're going to get some very tight in-betweens here. So they ease into the motion, they pop into the next keyframe. And then we get to see what's actually happening. So I just like this. Yeah, this is great.
Change in framing from something that's dynamic 3/4 view to flat on.
Yeah. Dynamic view is great for action. And what were you saying, Mike?
And then flat on framing for comedy. And like they've simplified the characters as well so that it really nails that kind of like amazing. Oh, okay. Yeah,
it looks super derpy. I love juxtaposing really dramatic shots with really silly. Sorry, barely moving. In fact, no, that is a different drawing. It's actually not. Just the hair is a different drawing and the mouth is a different drawing. Everything else is the same, and it's just been moved.
And an impact frame.
2 frames of flash so it can read. Slight camera shake for impact. And then look at this Grog. Great impact frame. Yeah, super cool. I love these impact frames where the lighting is cast onto the characters.
So Ethan has linked us to the boards, I think, for this. I'm going to switch that over to this view so people will see the boards for this.
Okay, do you guys want to watch it through one more time before we do? Because we've just got to the end.
Yeah.
Here, you go for it, Mike.
He said the boards are pretty interesting for this, but the boards are very... I think the boards have all the smears in them. So maybe it did go to an in-betweener who then in-between
Let's just in-between the smears, everyone. I mean, I don't hate it, though, is the thing.
I don't think the boards needed it, interestingly enough.
Well, are you showing the boards or are you showing the...
I'm showing an animatic right now.
Okay, I want to see it. Interesting. You see, I would say that they've kind of lost some of the impact that the boards had in this animation.
Yeah, let's play it through again.
Because the way that the character lands on the boxes there feels like super weighty, and it feels much more evened out here because the in-betweens are also straight. I still actually do really like the way...
It does look cool.
It does look cool. Like... I like the in-betweening of the smears in a way, because there's something very smooth about it. But for impact, I think the original had more impact. There's a little bit more of a weightlessness to this. Like, my favorite part is that end spin and that hurl. Because that hang in the air there before he throws it is really nice. Like, that's beautifully spaced.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for sharing that with us, Ethan.
Tib says, I hate that borders are basically forced to be key animators these days. How come, Tib? What is it about it that irks you? Because weren't the boards almost the keys anyway? To begin with, because they are the main actions that you need to denote, right? Or do you just hate the fact that they have to be so tight and on model that you can basically trace them?
It's an interesting discussion because are we done with this? Do you want me to link the next one to you?
I think so. I think this is a fascinating piece of animation. I think it's super satisfying and pleasing to watch.
This is Afro has done a study of Habo's animation from last week. Well, maybe since we analyzed this last week, we might like run through and show Afro's, but maybe not necessarily annotate it ourselves.
Well, let's have a look.
Yeah. In the interest of time.
Yeah, Bryony says you can tell when a production has to send in-betweens to another country out of house when the storyboards are super clean. Yeah, like we had that in Boulder when we were receiving the Disney boards for Wander Over Yonder. They were so clean. They were basically just do this.
Really?
Yeah, pose your and I learned a lot from them. You know, because I was like, wow, these poses are beautiful. This is how the Disney animators are doing it. But it was very much like just pose the character exactly as you see on the boards. We're essentially tracing them.
Yeah, there's a conversation there which comes down to where does the decision making happen? Like if the boards are at the point where they're pretty much keys, then the decision making happens in the storyboarding department. If they're left a little rough and interpreted, can be interpreted, then the decision making shifts over to the animation team.
Yeah.
And it depends on how tightly you want creative decision making early versus whether you want to like shift that over to later in the production. And I think that comes down on a team to team basis.
Yeah.
But it is an interesting rubber, like, elastic band of like where that happens.
Yeah, it is. It depends how clear a vision I think you have as the storyboarder for the scene. Because if you feel like you have a very clear vision and you very much want it to go in like that, it makes sense to make sure it's more fleshed out so that people know. If you feel like it should be something where the animators kind of take it and run with it, it makes sense to leave it a little bit more sparse.
I think with the advent of software that allows you to storyboard and animatic as one creative process has shifted the focus a little bit. Because when you were originally boarding on paper and you were putting it on a wall, you would have to like imagine how it would be paced, how it would read, how it would go. But now you have boarders who are trying those ideas out and putting them into motion as they're drawing it, which has changed the discipline a lot, I would say.
It is interesting when you see boards though which are basically animated themselves. I would say that, like, I'm not sure that's the best practice, just because it does kind of just feel like your animators are kind of filling in then.
So I
if
think
everything is so tight that it's already got all the keys, it's already got all the breakdowns, it's even got some of the in-betweens.
Did you get that link I sent you?
I have it open, Hardix.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah, so this is Afro breaking down Hardix animation.
So I'm going to play it through. For those who haven't seen Habbo's animation, I'll show you that quickly here. Well, not quickly, I'll show you it.
Yeah.
So, yay.
Lovely.
It's good to see this again.
Yeah, it is.
Alrighty.
And yeah, I love Wonder Over Yonder Summer Sunset. It's an amazing show. Okay, let's have a look. So, wonderful translation of the comic panel. I agree. Which applies to the whole animation too, by the way, says Afro. Yes, 100%. Like, really, really nice to see you interpret it and also, like, take the key poses. Let's see. Simple but effective bounce on the text. True. And on the characters too. And you see how some characters are going up and up when others are going down, and then down when others are going up, which keeps things feeling kind of offset. So even though they're all moving on the same frames, the movement on each is different.
Yeah.
They're not all just going up, down, up, down, up, down at the same time. Small squash on the characters. Also simple but very effective. It's true. Love the variance of motion here. Yeah, so that's what Afro's picking up on, is the fact that even though they're all moving on the same frames, the motion is varied enough that it doesn't just feel like you've kind of phoned it in. It feels still alive, still like there's character in all of them. I love how even in stillness you can still feel Midge's reaction.
Summer Sunset says, you did work on Wonder Over Yonder. I love that show.
I know, I just answered that.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry.
Don't worry about it. And then we have this really nice zoom in, which eases into the zoom. Wham! And this is a different drawing now, so love the spacing on the camera zoom. Starts off slow, then speeds up. Here to ease into Midge's face. Slow, fast, slow. Yeah, baby!
I have a thing to say on the what Tibbs was saying. I just remembered, like, a lot of the boards that get released that you see are like, this was from our storyboarders. That's not their first pass as well. That's maybe their third revision on boards. So you're not seeing the first decision-making drawings there. You're seeing like a couple of revisions later, which is also interesting because there are roles for like storyboard revisionists that would take the initial boards and do that.
Yeah, like I think of a lot of what we see for the boards are the companies trying to put out their best work.
Yeah.
Because companies only want people to see like the stuff they're super proud of because they want to draw more people in to want to work with them. So they kind of put out the gold standard.
Yeah. Okay, we're back.
So, tasty, subtle animation. So yeah, you see here, her hand kind of droops, which is a really nice way to show that she's like, oh geez. You know, she's wilting, as it were. Great use of a hold around here. Yeah, because you can get away with a lot more. Like, if you'd have a small motion and a large motion together, the small motion will be masked by the larger motion. So here, there's not much point in Habbo doing any small motions, because the cam zoom is the thing which most people are going to see, because it's a larger motion than the more subtle ones. So he can get away with holding for a long time on this without needing to worry about it, because it still feels like it's moving. And look at this, we have some nice body rotation. So the head is staying in mostly the same place, but we can see here the hands start to come around and the shoulders start to go over. And the shoulder is like almost pulling the head down as well, which is real nice. Using those, I might be tempted to pull that around to really help show that the bag is rotating around. And yeah, we get this nice arc of the shoulder going down there and the other shoulder coming up. Everything feels connected, which is super nice in space. As that shoulder pulls down, so the other shoulder must pull up, so the neck must move across, so the head must move up.
Yeah. Pose in action.
Yeah.
Nice.
Lovely. Nice shoulder roll. There you see again. We get this really nice curve going up on the head. And at the same time as this nice arc going up on the head here where we ease in. Also getting the shoulders opposing one another. So things are moving at different rates and they're moving in different ways. Which is super nice. It makes it feel very textured, very nuanced. Almost like a line boil, it's so subtle. But it's just moving her head a little bit further back and tensing her body up a little bit more. And then look at this hold. So here we again get to see Midge thinking and reacting to the situation, all within a wonderful hold. So yeah, like, some people think holds are lazy, but holds are incredibly important to stuff like this, especially when it comes to acting. Your characters need to have time to react to what's happening to them and to think about it and to process it before they react.
Yeah.
Generally said, it's going to take a character at least 8 frames to notice or process something.
Yeah, if
so
the character is like moving from one pose to another, to another, to another, they're not being motivated by their own intentions because they're like going through the motions, like pre-scripted almost. You want that time for action, reaction, to action again.
Yeah, so keep that in mind. When you're doing scenes that rely on acting, you're going to want to utilize those holds to the best of your advantage. They are important communication tools, not just ways to make your job a bit easier. But, you know, they are tools in your tool belt. We can see here faces is rotating up, which we can see by the fact that the ears are going down. And we have this change of expression. The eyebrows go up. And then this head raise, which is an anticipation. And then we start to get this lovely drag down, where the eyes stay mostly the same place, but the body is dragging. And we know the head's going to follow in a sec, because the lower part of the head is already being dragged down that way. So this is going to be a really nice arc over. Here we go. Lovely subtle change of expression, shows change of thought. Yes.
Nice.
And it's anticipating to this, which is another anticipation. Anticipating the anticipation, but what we're really showing here is the change of attitude.
I think the change in like head shape from being like kind of like a lot of the weight of the feeling is like down at the bottom of the head. It raises up a little bit. Like she goes from having like a bottom heavy head, even though it's raising up, to a slightly like top heavy head, just because she's like holding herself a little less like scared.
You can see her shoulders relax. She's opened up slightly more. And then we get this. So it's almost like an anticipation to this, but also it shows a change in attitude.
Really good acting notes, Afro.
Yeah, lovely. And then, boop, bam, straight into this pose. Nice snap into this squash pose. Here we go. So the hands are coming up, followed by this pose, which helps to ease the squash, as well as tying her left arm into view for the next action. Here we go. So this is going to come over the top here in a nice broad arc. I love this squash here on the mouth, just to show like she's pushing up against her shoulder. Super nice. And her hand is going to unfold here. And I really like it when people do this, where the hand's kind of... The shoulder comes up first, like the up arm. And then we get most of the movement on the lower arm. And then we get the movement on like the wrist as it unfolds outwards.
Just want to say... Sue and Proxy TV, thanks for the follow.
Thank you very much. You can see we have an under arc coming here on the left screen left arm and an over arc going on the screen right arm. So the two motions, so they are happening at the same time. There's nuance to them. And then into this nice pose here. We pop into that, which works with the cam move too. Like, again, you want big broad movements when the cam moves broadly like this, because otherwise they're not going to register.
Gotcha.
And then zip straight into this pose. And look at this nice blur we have here. This smear on the smear on the finger. And yeah, we have an overshoot which bounces back. Great arcs, agreed. And the head too, bouncing back, with the hair doing this continuous motion coming up there, and then continuing to go up. So not everything is bouncing. We have this nice feeling of flow, as well as the main body bounce. And this settles up into this frame, and back down. So I have a real feeling of the force of the motion, because the force of the motion is so great that the body is having to settle after that. Like the movement's still rippling through the body. Lovely flow of motion. I also love the bounciness of her face in this. I just noticed a subtle animation here. Yeah! On the backpack, doing this little wave motion.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Lovely. Lovely stuff.
So at the moment, this is our Animatoonings challenge stream. We do this each Monday, and last week's challenge was to take a piece of animation that you really enjoy and like, and annotate it and see what about it is appealing to you. So we're we're looking at Ampharos's annotations of Animatoonings, or Hardik's animation that Hardik did for last week's challenge. So this is getting a little bit meta.
Yeah. Yeah, this hair weight is lovely. The distortion of these large shapes, the way that it pulls up here, you can really feel the weight in the fact that when the top bit pulls up, the bottom bit has to drag behind. If you wanted to make the hair feel super light and feathery, you would just have it like immediately come up like that. But because it's lingering down at the bottom here and really being delayed in the drag, it makes it feel weighty and heavy. Beautiful. Beautiful. The slight turn here helps to lead us into the next shot. So yeah, it's almost like Midge is being pulled down here this way.
Okay.
Because she's going to be facing away from us. Is the thing. So we were almost rotating around her.
Yes.
You see?
Yeah.
So this motion is leading into where she will be here.
Okay.
So he's almost handling it like if you're going to take her from this position down to this position, how would you in between it? And then we have this lovely wipe, which I think is great. Love the panel wipe transition here. It's great. Agreed. The chair sliding in here is great. This happens in Midge's imagination. Yes, it does. Helps to present and reinforce this. It's true. It's
a great acting choice.
Yeah, and the fact that, again, like, Habel could have just had the chair slide in facing sideways like it does, but instead he has it rotating.
Yeah.
So it's like, whoosh, it's spinning as it comes in.
Yes.
The grumpy boy, yeah. Jove is not impressed. Jove is the only one who, even in Midge's brain, is not impressed. The use of foreshortening here is great, yes. Agreed.
Well, I like this because I like this panel in the comic because this is her internalized, almost not revenge, but she's imagining one-upping someone who's just ridiculed her.
Yeah.
So in her imagination, he's not amused, but she's enjoying his not amusement.
Yes. In her imagination, though, her comebacks are still incredibly lame. It's just that for some reason they land in her imagination.
Oh, Midge.
So yeah, we have this rising up here, this ease into this top motion, and then you can see here, this top point remains the same, but everything is dragging down from that. The hair is continuing to travel up. She is dragging down, opposing motion! And then we have this pop. Bam! Straight into this. And more smear frames to show the amount of space that Mitch has travelled across in order to get there. And a bounce. But I like the fact that the head here doesn't just bounce up like the rest of the body does. The head instead is doing this lovely, like, little circular settle.
Nice.
Like, she's in control of her head here. It's not just bobbing. It's following through with the weight, and then she's raising it up. But even the chair here is distorting with the impact. And Afro's written, chair squashes.
Yeah.
Small smear in the chalk. Text bubble squashes in. Great use of spacing here. Yeah, lovely. And lovely use of rotation here on the face. Having the features and the eyes being overlapped by the nose shows that she's rotating her head slightly further down. Hair flows through. Head arcs down as it settles back. Tasty little spin of the chalk. Thumb and index finger snapping out create the energy for the spin. Yeah, it's lovely. Thanks, Siri. From this pose into this pose. Super nice. A little bit of snap that adds texture to the overall motion. And then we're going to have the hand travel upwards in an arc here. With the head. But as head settles down, the arc of the hand is still going. Chalk becomes clear to see as it loses momentum. So same thing that we saw in the OK KO thing. As the momentum is lost, the smears lessen. Subtle squash and rotation on the bag as her shoulders move back. Yeah, lovely. See, everything is rotating according to everything else. Everything feels connected. Pelvis feels connected here. And then her mouth opening acts as anticipation before she blows in the chalk. And also her hand opening here acts as anticipation before it snaps close on this next frame. See how her fingers are getting more and more stretched apart on this frame. And then bam! Straight into the closed frame. And not much is moving apart from the hand here. So again, we have like the main movement on the hand and on the mouth. And everything else is very subtle. Giving us this nice feeling of variance.
Woo.
And then we have drag on the chalk here as it's pulled towards her mouth.
There's a little bit of drag on her hair as well.
Yeah. It's lovely. Again, selling that weight of the hair. It doesn't just settle in easily. It doesn't get pulled easily with the head. there's this wonderful weight to it. Love the little tilt on her arm, I think that is.
On her R.
On her R. Smoke reacts to her blowing on the chalk, akin to blowing on a gun after firing because of her imagination. Oh! Yes. And this is something which Habbo added himself. This is not in the comic.
Yeah.
And then we have a slow settle, and the hand moves away, and the face moves away with this opposing motion. I love how you adapted the panel here. Yeah, it's lovely. We can read your writing, Afro. Oh, Afro says, it's always Hardik. I love your animations. They have a wonderful sense of bounciness, life, and emotion to them. I know I'm just shouting your praise at this point, but I can't help it. You're too good not to. Aw. You really brought Midge to life with this. But yeah. Stay awesome, my friend. So powerful. So powerful. Yeah, this is wonderful. Like, beautiful. Hardik has a real knack for pairing subtlety with larger pops of motion.
Yeah.
And offsetting more tight in-betweens with larger spacing on certain body parts while making it all still feel connected.
Yeah. All right. Okay, we've got...
Oh my gosh, we're going so over again.
Yeah,
we only have we've only done 3 of them or something.
I did say that maybe that one you could just have a look at Afro's thing, but you.
Oh my gosh. Okay, quick, next.
Okay.
I'm so bad at doing these in a timely fashion.
Yeah, the next one is Spencer Wan's animation, so so
I can't.
Yeah. Just try your damnedest to rush through this one, India.
How many do we have left?
3 or 4.
Maybe I should continue this tomorrow. Do you think we should split this one over 2 days so I can give them... Because I don't want to rush through Spencer Wan's. What do you guys think? Should I go through another 3 or 4? Or should we break and then come back and do the rest of the critiques tomorrow?
Let's see, we've got...
that says, one more day. Another day, another destiny.
We've got this one, and then let's see, we've got this one, and then I think there are 2 more. There's this one, there's Tibbs's one, and there's Palbro's one.
So there's 3.
There's 3 more to do. Yeah.
Okay, and we've currently done 4.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, what do you guys think? Over a few days, you definitely tune back in. And that says one more day. Which Spencer Wan one was chosen? I have to know.
It's a Castlevania one.
If we do 2 more, there's only going to be 1 left, Afro.
You could do 2 more and then...
Do a flip. There, I did it.
I think she
didn't
means
see.
a coin. I think she means a coin flip.
I did a flip.
Okay.
Which was impressive. I wish you guys could have seen it.
As we continue till we do it tomorrow.
Hang on, doesn't it make sense to make this decision based on reason and logic rather than a coin flip?
Alright, fine.
Did I land on my head or my tail? My tail. Flip the cat. If it lands on his feet, we'll wait 1 more day. I think we should continue this tomorrow because
it's already 11.
If I'm going to take another hour and a half to get through these next 3, then I need to get to my day job, guys.
Okay.
But what I will do is I will let you know what the next animation challenge is before we go.
And then we can give people the resources for that tomorrow.
Mhm.
Okay.
So I'll tell you guys what that is now, and I'll reiterate it tomorrow. But tomorrow I'll go over the rest of the animation analysis. Also, by the way, just great job to everyone who has so far submitted for the animation analysis. You guys, like, I'm flipping to frames and finding that you guys have already written the stuff that I've been talking about. Like, you guys are, like, on it.
Yeah.
Great job. I hope that you guys are learning a lot from looking at this stuff on your own, as well as on the streams. So yeah, the new challenge. I'm going to tell you what it is. The reason that I was interested in hearing what Spencer Wan scene people had chosen is partially because I have chosen a Spencer Wan scene as inspiration for this week's challenge. Are you able to show my screen again, Mike?
Yes. Give me a second. You'll need to share it with me.
Okay.
All right, let me see. Behind the scenes, this is really hard to do with only one monitor. I will get better at this when I have to again. Yeah, all right. Join call. Mute yourself. Pop out. Cool. All right. Hang on. Hang on. Slow your biscuits. Slow them down.
But my biscuits.
Slow them down.
They're rolling. The monitor is going to come in when we get paid. We are currently waiting on a payment. And when that comes in, we will use the money that we raised on stream, along with subsidizing it from our own money, to order the monitor.
Let's get a good one.
Way! Apparently the check is in the mail, so it should be soon.
Okay, let's see. I'm probably just bring it up on the screen.
So you guys ready for a new challenge?
That didn't work.
This challenge is a challenging one. I mean, you guys just spent a week like breaking down people's animations and looking at super inspirational stuff from people that you know, aspire to animate like. So you guys should be like limber and ready for this, right? You ready for a real challenge?
That's not the right one. That's not the right one.
I'ma keep posing it up here. I'ma keep posturing until you get it ready.
Sorry, this is hard because you're no longer... maybe this one? Dual stream why?
Yeah, new challenge. This is gonna test you guys for sure.
Fucking damn it.
You okay there, Mike?
Yeah, I think it's because I have two... Okay, that's there. Is it up yet? Nope. Okay. So Skype.
It might be
properties.
something you can slide into Sonic animation, Grog, depending on how much you're willing to change what we give you. You'll understand what that means in a minute. You know when it's based on a Spencer Wan animation, inspired by a Spencer Wan animation, it's gonna be tricky.
There we go. Alright. Yeah, I've got you, fam.
You got me. Okay, guys. So a bunch of you may have seen this. It's been going around Twitter. So there is this amazing looking animation. I don't know if it's a series or an OVA. Michael and I are going to have to look into it and see if we can find it because we really want to watch it. But a bunch of very, very skilled animators have worked on this, and Spencer Wan is one of them. And this is one of his cuts from it. With this main character here running across this rooftop while being pursued by these three dudes. Or, I don't know if they're all dudes. But these three people are pursuing them. So, the title for this week's animation challenge is Animated Obstacle Course. What's going to happen is Mike and I are going to give you a moving camera with a background with obstacles on it. And it's your guys' job to take that video that we give you and to animate a character going through those over the top. And we're probably going to try and put some interesting camera moves in there, which is up to you to interpret however you like. But this is going to be the camera traveling along a course with obstacles on it and you animating over the top your character navigating those.
Apparently Grog took this as inspiration for one of the scenes he's done in Sonic already.
Nice. Good. So Grog, you're already a step ahead. That means we should expect something super competent and polished from you, right? I'm really joking.
I'm not laughing.
No pressure.
I'm not laughing at Grog. I'm laughing at the way you were just like, oh, cool, polish, great.
Yeah. No, this is gonna... Obviously, this is probably going to be very rough keys and in-betweens. You know, because again, we encourage you to spend no more than 3 hours on this. This should be a way for you to really like stretch your wings, Try some stuff, have fun, don't feel too much pressure, just have a good time. As for where you guys are going to get the animation cam from, Mike and I will provide the background and the camera for you in the form of a movie that you guys can import into your software of choice.
Yeah, we'll share the link to it on our Twitter.
Yeah.
So follow us on Twitter. Ah!
So we'll pop that up on Twitter and we'll put it into the peg bar as well, so you all can grab it. And then you will be animating over the top of that. The bright side, you guys don't have to worry about doing an environment.
I am going to make it in Blender, Tib. That's the plan.
Sure are. We'll try and get some nice exciting cam moves in there so it's not just panning along something. And we'll see how you guys interpret it. It should be super fun to see everyone's characters navigating these things. They don't have to be humanoid if you don't want. It can be any character you like, an existing one that you've downloaded the character sheet for and want to try drawing, or one of your own. Wasabi Cheetah, your first animation challenge! You can do it! Let's all have fun. And just try something new and try and learn from it.
So I'll aim to get that available for you by tomorrow.
Yep. We were aiming to get it for today, but since we're going to continue reviewing the animation analysis tomorrow, we will give it to you at the end of that stream, and we'll also recap at the end of tomorrow's stream on what this challenge is, just in case people missed it. But yeah, this is going to be it. You guys excited to do an animated obstacle course? I'm excited. We're excited to see what you guys do. When should you expect the animation to be posted? The animated background with the cam move should be posted tomorrow. Don't be scared, Kozak. You got this. You can do it. We'll all be doing it together, and we'll all be scared together. You can do it, pal bro. I believe in you. No pressure on anyone. It doesn't have to be like this. Okay, I should say that straight off the bat. We're not expecting this quality, okay? We're expecting, like, rough keys and in-betweens at the most.
Yeah.
You know? This is Spencer Wan we're talking about. We know we're not expecting everyone to be Spencer Wan off the bat. But the first step to making animation like this is to try. So we're gonna try, and we'll see where we land.
Gotta at least beat Hardic though. Whoa.
Do yours entirely with effects animation, Tib.
Oh, imagine
it's a
like,
flood going over the entire city.
That'd be really cool.
And then we can put other people's characters up in front of it, like running away from it.
Oh man, if we could coordinate, like, because there's group shots here.
Maybe that's the next challenge, is we'll give people a bunch of stuff they can choose from, and then we'll assemble some of them together.
Oh, that'd be really, really
We'll
cool.
have like Team A, Team B, and Team C, and
Yeah.
we'll each take a part of it and see what happens.
Like, if you, part of your planning is like, I'm gonna have my character running in the foreground, I'm gonna have my character running mid and background. Yeah, it would be really cool to comp them together.
Yeah.
Whoa. Kadraw, thank you. Or K-Draw. Discovered you, I'm a French artist, thanks. We'll try to do it. It's very motivating. Awesome.
Yeah. Good luck. And yeah, we'll get you all the materials tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for joining us on the stream today. I'm sorry that we didn't manage to get through everything, but I definitely want to make sure that we give it the time of day. So rather than rush through it now, we will go through it at a leisure tomorrow.
And then I have this. Thanks so much for watching. We've been Doig and Swift, and you've all been awesome.
Yeah, that's true. I can't deny that. That's 100% true.
I know this screen says that we stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but we switched that up recently. We're every weekday now.
Yeah.
And that's some of our past work showing there. We're parts of Night's Light Table, all that good stuff. Yeah, let's find someone to raid.
Let's do it.
Cool. That's been really it's been really fun seeing you analyze stuff. I feel like even just watching, I've learned a lot.
Yeah. Like, hearing people do it in the chat as well has been really helpful, because people in the chat are seeing things which I did not see.
That's really cool.
So I'm learning as well.
Let's see. I'm getting recommended. Caro, Clyde, Clyde's probably finishing soon. Let me go on to Twitch itself, see if there's anyone that we know. To do a Google raid. Google raid. Let's mute the site. Oh, come on. Come on, mouse. There we go. Alright, we have Nick Was, pixel artist, Max Greg, really cool, incredible artist, Angavar, Caro, Clyde. Who would you want to raid? Both to you and the chat.
I mean, that's mostly up to you guys, I would say.
I've never raided Max before.
Alright.
So let's
Well,
go.
he's a fantastic artist. Those of you who aren't following him should definitely follow him, both on social media and on Twitch. He does amazing, solid feeling, dimensional character designs, super fun stuff. Great with lighting and colour and just like solidity of design. Awesome person to look at, very inspirational.
Yeah, okay, let's do a Max Greg raid. Do. We'll raid Caro next week or tomorrow or something, because she's streamers every day, I think.
Yeah. To draw, you're welcome.
My screen just turned itself off.
Fantastic. It must be the heat. It's very warm today.
Please don't die.
You can't have 2 dead monitors. That's against the law.
Yeah, I know. Okay, it's back. It's back.
I think it's just the heat.
Alrighty.
Alrighty then.
Thank you so much for coming by, and we'll catch you tomorrow.
And until then,
May the rest
of your day
be filled
with adventure.
Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.